Welcome, folks. I'm the only living fanboy. We are now into the second month of 2022, and we're going to be discussing the comebacks and debuts for February with my co-host, Kang Sung Jun.
Hello, everyone.
And our two guests, Chuck Loridans.
Hello. You can call me the Savage Chuck.
And Tim Cline, the Kpop Dragon.
Hey.
So, just first off, what was all you guys' impression moving in from the great, phenomenal first month of the year we had to going into February? What was your expectations?
Well, only things can get better.
I would have to agree with that. It's been hard to keep up with a lot of these comebacks since basically the end of 2021.
Yeah,
they've been fast and furious.
A lot of the fourth gen groups I haven't really latched onto them yet, but there's a couple that are seeping through, and the ones that I've always depended on are still impressing.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all these new groups coming out. I mean, you reach a saturation point of what your attention span can keep track of, and it's not a comment on the quality or talent of the fourth gens. It's just you can only handle so much at one time, and eventually they start sneaking in.
Yeah. That's the thing that I find is that sometimes I can't get into all the new groups right away, you know, or they haven't grown on me yet. Like I've talked about before with G-Idol, how when they first came out, and that's 4 years ago now, I wasn't too impressed. I just kind of, because of the fact that there were so many other great groups, and they just kind of got, I guess, pushed to the back. But then later on, I became a huge fan, and they became in like my top five, I think, for a while there, maybe even still. So it's just a matter of there's so much, you get bombarded with so much stuff. It's trying to find the time to be able to take it all in, really.
Sensory overload. Exactly.
So we're going to start off by talking about the new Rocking Doll comeback called Heart Rider. So what was everyone's take on that?
I loved it. I think they got a lot of potential, and when they debuted, I believe late last year, I was really impressed with them. I'm actually becoming a big fan of them. I think that I know they're with a small company, and I think they got a lot of potential to do some great things. So I actually like them, and I actually liked their two songs that they did so far.
Yeah.
Heart Rider kind of put me in mind of someone's take on Flashy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because just the visuals to it, the actual music, and just some of the styling. It was like listening to Popping or Baby Lotion or any of those others.
Right.
So that's who that struck me as. So it's like, this is kind of a trip down vintage K-pop way.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Chuck? Yeah.
These are my notes. First, this is the one group I'd never heard of when you put down the list of groups we're going to discuss. And to start off, I have an Agio. Is that how you pronounce it? Agio.
Ideal.
Agio.
Agio. Oh.
I have a threshold. It's too cutesy for me, where it seems like it's being cutesy for the sake of cutesy.
Yeah.
And like when Oh My Girl did Banana Allergy Monkey, that was geared towards kids, and they were telling a story, so it was completely acceptable. This one just was too much, just overboard cutesy for me. Although the melody almost gets me. And the other note I have is I thought it would be cooler with the spaceship, but the spaceship didn't, in the video, didn't really play a big factor.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that would be part of a story, and I love a storyline in a video.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing that I kind of, seeing the spaceship, it kind of took me back a lot of it to the early WJSN stuff. That's what I was kind of thinking of right away. I see about the flashy. I see that too, definitely in there. The visuals and the music. But yeah, I really enjoyed it because I like it's a lot of the cutesy, the egg yolk kind of stuff, or kawaii if you're talking about J-pop. I've always enjoyed that kind of stuff. So to me, this was just like right up my alley because I prefer that stuff over, I guess what they call girl crush or whatever. I prefer that sort of a thing. So for me, for my personal taste, it was more tailored towards what I like. Suppose so for me that was a good thing.
Yeah, I can agree with Chuck to an extent sometimes with some of the cute stuff, but for me, I think the key on it, a lot of it is that I love full color spectrum. So
right.
When you have a lot of this stuff that, it's dark, not in content nature, but in visual.
Yeah.
That tends to just turn me off because I like full color spectrum stuff. And this is one of those videos where everything is bright and shiny and the colors are throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So for me, this was like a refreshing change of pace because it's like everything is about dark content filmed in dark areas with dark clothing and it's just like it's no wonder everyone's depressed because that's all they see is a complete lack of color.
Yeah, I know.
But that's me.
No, I get that. It makes sense. I mean, the more you just sort of just kind of sink into the darkness, the more darkness, I guess, becomes of you. You become of darkness. So yeah, I get what you mean by that. But yeah, to me, it was the kind of thing that I like. I like the cutesy kind of stuff. So it was perfect in my opinion. It was a great song. I have no complaints about it. I loved it 100%.
Yeah, come to the dark side. We have cookies.
So moving on, we're going to discuss a debut now. One that I think the public kind of was a little bit mixed on, which kind of gets me back to the name of the group, actually. It's kind of comes full circle. N-Mix. And they have this sort of, I guess, like a bird face. It's like O.O, so I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just going to call it the bird face song. So what was all you guys' take on the bird face song by N-Mix?
Confusing.
Well,
it's not a knock against them. I mean, JYP always puts out good songs. I would say a mutual friend of ours said it was almost like 2 or 3 songs into one.
Right.
And I agreed with what she said. And I feel like had they broken that up into 3 songs for just the album or 3 title tracks down the road, maybe it would have been better. I think they're going to be good down the road.
Right.
I do like their vocals and everything. I couldn't get into this. I know a lot of people really liked it, and a lot of people really hated it. And I hate saying that, but I'm with a majority of people that it was different.
Yeah.
And for me, it was confusing. And I do look forward to what they're doing in the future, but this, I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of the same. It was a song that wanted to be everything, and for me, in final analysis, it ended up being nothing.
Right.
I would not agree at all with the British press that it's the worst song ever.
Oh, that was. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
No, I don't agree with that either because that,
that's
for
too
that
far.
to be. Yeah, well, you'd have to reflect on the girl's talent to start with to make that kind of in-stone statement, and I don't agree with that.
No, they definitely have great talent for sure. It's just the song was weird.
Yeah.
See, for me, this is one of those songs to where I can't get through it. The first time I watched it, I got about maybe a minute into it. Right. Now, I can't even get 30 seconds into it. So for me, this is a bad song. This is just absolutely terrible because you can't even sit through it. I
got through it maybe once or twice just to give it another try, but it's just like... Oh,
yeah. I've tried.
Yeah, I know a number of people that love it and will listen to it on repeat constantly. I'm like...
And that's great.
Twice is good enough for me. I can't... It's just... It feels like it was rushed,
Yeah, and it also felt like it was too much of a disguised commercial for Coke.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, here are my notes. The video is mega epic. I thought the video was like a mini movie. But this is the note I wrote. Song is like great parts from 5 different songs that don't belong in the same song. I don't know if I saw somebody make the comparison of how Queen was able to make it work with Bohemian Rhapsody, and Paul McCartney and Wings was able to make it work with Band on the Run.
Yes.
Where it was like a little mini opera. This didn't jive. Some writers or mixers can make it work. This doesn't work for me as a song that I really want to listen to. And the video itself was, like I said, was more like an avant-garde art film.
Right.
And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful film, but I didn't really catch the story there. And it was because the song was too distracting.
Yeah. It was kind of like the original debut for Wecky Mecky with I Don't Like Your Girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Because that one was reviled when it first came out, because everyone said it was like 3 songs that were just kind of like, oh, well, we'll just mix it and just be done with it. But actually the transitions is something that you don't pick up on until after you've listened to it a few times. And that's the problem with this song.
Yeah.
There's really no stable transition from one segment to another. It just sounds like a train car coming to a complete stop and then jerking back into action.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it was also like they were trying to, like we were talking about a second ago, the preferences of the cutesy and the preference to the dark side is like, hey, everybody, we're both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first part of the song is this kind. We want you all to be happy, and nobody was happy.
Yeah, and the other part of the problem you got with this is that all the accusations of plagiarism that came in on it.
I didn't hear about that.
I didn't hear about that either, but I don't see where there was plagiarism because...
Well, you know how K-Nets are, and a lot of the visuals they feel were taken from a couple videos. The one most notable was from an 80s video.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
About the
I don't see it, though.
floating pirate.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
So I wouldn't see it. But, they came under fire for that. It was like...
Yeah, I'm a fan of ATs. I like their stuff, but there was no similarity between the two. I watched the video twice, so I must have not caught it.
Yeah.
But yet...
My daughter's a big fan of ATs. She just came into K-pop a couple months ago.
Oh, that's cool.
So now I have someone in the house that understands me.
Well, there you go. That's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was just like pretty much what you guys were saying. Like one of the examples, I know that Chuck gave some examples of like classic rock songs. I know that Kung brought up about transitioning. And the one song that I was kind of thinking of that executed that transition, a classic rock song, would be Life's Been Good by Joe Walsh. And he talks about that. I've heard like an interview with him where it's like that, once again, it was literally multiple songs, multiple keys, and he found a way to merge it together to transition, and it sounds great. I mean, like even, I'll tell you one of the things, he doesn't do it so much when he produces other people, but one thing that he did also going back to classic rock with his own group, ELO, was with Jeff Lynne. He would put these, where he would change the key and do it throughout the song. These little like...
Mr. Blue Sky.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's an example. Living Thing, Evil Woman, almost all the... Well, I think, what's the other one? I can't think of. But yeah, like a lot of them, that's what he did. And he pulled it off and it sounded fantastic. And he said it would change the key, it would change everything, the whole mood, but it would sound great. However, this is to me, just kind of slapping things together. You're just kind of throwing everything into it, and it doesn't make any sense. Like there's a way to do it, an artful way, a skillful way of doing a transition, like Kung was saying.
Yeah.
But this is just like, I don't know, they just kind of threw everything at it all at once. And
it felt like every time they went to do a different part of the song, like you have the first part, they stop, and then they do the second part
abruptly.
And it felt like the middle there when they stopped and changed concepts in a way. It almost like it was like the whole Coke thing. Like in the middle, we're gonna advertise Coke Zero or Diet Coke or whatever it was, and then now we're doing the dark stuff.
Yeah, I don't
girl crush stuff. It was just like first part stop, second part stop, and then the end, and like if it didn't have that abrupt change of concepts throughout the video, I may have liked it, but I still didn't feel the song. And people said, listen to the B-side, and I did. I'm like, I'm not feeling this either.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
think, like I said, it's their debut. Give them some time. Let's see where this goes.
Right.
And I hate the fact that all of these people, not just the K-Nets, but everybody, even some people I knew, were trashing the girls, and I felt so bad for them. Like, get off their case because it's their debut. Relax. Just let's see where this goes.
It's not like they're the first group in the music industry to come out and just basically do a complete flop
Right.
at their debut and then turn around and become something big.
Right.
But what's interesting is that JYP is usually really good at choosing the right song for the right group. And,
Yes.
and you talk about a music change. A lot of Twice's songs do that perfectly because you have these upbeat, peppy songs, and then it goes into Mina coming out and singing a really, where she's tearing her heart out, sounding really sad, and just like cheer up. And then you immediately go right back into, happy jumping around and stuff after Mina makes you cry. That's handled it deftly.
I think that's why a lot of people were confused by it, because everybody knows JYP can pick some awesome songs, and people were like, well, what the heck is this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, like, what that makes me think about is you were talking about, JYP picking these great songs. And you have to remember, I don't actually know who produced this particular song, but my guess is it wasn't JYP himself. But you have to understand that a lot of Miss A stuff, a lot of Twice stuff still to this day is actually written and produced by JY himself. He actually writes them, and I'm guessing this was just like a throwaway thing. He just found some random producer. I mean, he had some bigger name producers like David Amber, who's an American producer who did a lot of the Twice stuff as well. But at the same time, probably 50% of it was done by JYP himself. So I think, I don't think he's giving enough attention personally. This is like a new group. I mean, he just had Need You came out. We already have ITZY, who's like this generation's JYP group.
Right.
And I just feel like he's not personally putting enough effort himself into looking after these girls.
You can tell he needs you. You can tell that he's just, it takes a personal hand with them, just like he did with Twice. But he doesn't seem to do that with this group.
Right.
Well, I'm sure with the bad feedback that the song got, I'm sure he'll maybe he'll step in and correct the ship.
Well, the other
No
theory.
pun intended.
Right.
The other theory is that he did this deliberately to generate a lot of press to get everyone talking about them more than it was anticipated. Because more people will talk about a train wreck than they will about the kid being saved by a puppy dog.
Right.
And the other theory that I've seen fly about is that this was a deliberate attempt by JYP to get everyone focused on the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Because I kind of still side with the fact that he's overwhelmed and he's not paying attention.
Yeah.
Because I remember clear as day when he said, I don't have time for more than one girl group. And then next thing you know, he's throwing Miss A and Wonder Girls out the back door.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why a lot of fans get concerned about Twice being thrown out the back door.
well, this is, I'm sorry, I'm cynical, and I apologize to anyone this offends, but JYP does not have what I call loyalty to any one group. Look at the history.
Agree with that.
I mean, think about this for a minute. I thought GOT7 was wonderful. I thought they were a really incredible boy group. They got tired of it and walked.
Right.
Okay, he tossed out Miss A and Wonder Girls. And then, it's...
Day 6
He's
is
confusing.
Right. Day 6
He
is
is.
probably going to be on the verge of disbandment before you know it.
Yeah, and he's got, Stray Kids?
Yeah, I actually like Stray Kids. They're actually really hitting their stride right now with some other
It seems like it.
comebacks.
Yeah. Well, Day
I
6,
think
they've been
it's-
around for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, but I can't remember who it was, but one of the guys just left because his contract was up, and he basically announced that JYP doesn't care about certain groups, and he split. And they did like a subunit.
Yeah.
It's called like Day into Night or something. I can't remember
think
what
I heard
it is. But yeah, I would not be surprised if Day 6 at some point,
Yeah.
whether it's this year or maybe early next year, disbands because he's not paying attention to him. But Day 6, for a group that does musical instruments and stuff, that's not very common in K-pop,
Yeah.
Right.
they're really, really good. I actually like a lot of their stuff. And I actually have a few of their albums, but it's going to come to a point where either they walk or he disbands them because he's like, yeah, they're not working out. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And to your point about Miss A, that was one of the first groups I ever listened to. I'm like, wow, this is really good stuff. And the last few songs that I had listened to were their last 2 albums, and then they were gone.
Yeah, their last release was Colors.
I actually have that. Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
that
and that's
album.
a phenomenal album. And if you don't have it, you need to pick up Hush.
No,
I've been looking for that, and I came across it once on eBay,
Mhm.
and I just missed it.
Oh boy.
That thing is nothing but A tracks.
Right.
Oh,
Hush is
okay.
actually one of my favorite songs from them.
My introduction to that song, the song Hush, and to A Pink. Or is it Miss Pink or Miss A? What do we discuss?
We're talking about Miss A.
Miss A.
Okay, Miss A. Sorry, I'm
That's
just
fine.
I don't know her.
But it was one of the Dios, and
Oh yeah.
I actually had like one member from all of my top 6 groups doing the collaboration on Hush.
Yes.
And it was spectacular. It was Soan from G Friend, Joy from Red Velvet, Gio.
Miju.
Who?
Miju from Lovelies.
Yeah, Miju. Yeah, from Lovelies.
Lovelies.
Gio from Oh My Girl, my favorite group. Sui from Twice, and it was one other I can't think, but it was really spectacular.
It
I
was.
think I have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Superhero team up. And,
Yes.
and that got me into the song. So then I went out and purchased the song "Hush" by Miss A digitally. Really good song.
Yeah, my favorite track from that Miss A album is "If I Were a Boy."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, that is.
Was it a remake of the American song?
I would know. I stopped following American music when it went into the dumpster in the early '90s.
And I think this was from the 90s. I think it was I can't remember. I think it was an African American singer. I can't think who did it, but he did a song called "If I Were a Boy."
Yeah, I honestly.
Yeah, I think I
wouldn't
might
know.
have heard of that before, but I don't think I've actually heard it. Like I've heard of a Western singer doing that song called that, but I mean a lot of with K-pop, a lot of times they just take the titles,
Right.
and they redesign the whole. It's a totally different song.
Yeah, because the one thing you cannot copyright in the publishing world are titles.
Right.
No matter how creative you think you are, you cannot copyright them.
Right.
And there are so many K-pop songs called "Butterfly."
Yeah.
There's so many Western songs called Butterfly.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah.
Well, that also ties back into when Blizzard Entertainment was trying to trademark the word Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that had been allowed, then anyone of Hispanic heritage wouldn't be able to write anything about
Yeah.
the devil.
Right.
They would have to come up with a new name because if they used the word Diablo,
Yeah, that's correct.
Blizzard would have a legal recourse against them. And it's just like,
Yeah.
we need to get to the point to where we don't copyright concepts and
Right.
single words because that's wrong.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But no, I'm wishing the best for NMIX. I have concerns with them being with JYP. And, even though I can't get through the song, the best I could do was make them a focus group on, Facebook for a while.
Yeah. So moving on now, we're going to talk about not a debut, but a comeback, a solo comeback from a member of the group CLC, who is now on her own. She's from Thailand, and her name is Sorn. And her new song is called Sharp Objects. So what did you all think about that?
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Was it one of you guys that compared it to Kim Wilde?
That was me.
Yeah, that was so on the nose, because it really reminded me of the song she did back in the '80s, like Cambodia.
Yeah.
That heavy on the synth, and her hair and movements really brought back classic Kim Wilde. That was one of my first rock star crushes after Debbie Harry and Jane Wiedlin.
Yeah, Debbie Harry and Samantha Fox.
Yeah. But yeah, Sorn was the standout person to me in CLC.
Same.
He was the standout person. It was the eyes, the voice.
Yes.
Really kind of grabs the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she fires straight from the hip. She doesn't mask words at all.
No.
And she speaks like, what, 20 different languages?
Yeah, something like that.
Crazy. Yeah, she is really talented. I've watched her content for years. I mean, since she's been doing it, since I don't know when she even started, but back when she was in CLC, she was still doing stuff, and not still doing stuff, but she's, started doing stuff. And I've always enjoyed her content. Very talented individual. She did stand out to me as well in CLC. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily called her a bias. I guess she would be. I never really had a bias in that group. It was one of those groups where, kind of like the way it was with A-Pink for a while for me, I couldn't latch onto a single member because they all just are very talented. They all caught my attention. But I think at some point I did, because she did catch my attention first, I think at some point I did just finally break down and say that, Sorn would be the closest thing to a bias that I would have in that group. But it's, what they say, you stand the OT, you stand the original team. I guess that's what I do with CLC. I just kind of stand the original team.
Yeah. It's always been a tear between Sorn and Eugen for me, as far as a bias goes. And if I remember correctly, Sorn's father is some kind of political minister for Thailand.
I think so. I think I've heard that too. So anything from you, K-Pop Dragon?
I actually didn't know she had a comeback, so...
Oh, that's okay.
Don't worry about that, man. You have no idea how many I miss that you guys are constantly talking about.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them.
There's certain solo artists that I do follow, and I absolutely love and enjoy, but I was never, and I might be the odd man out here, but I was never a really big fan of her, even in CLC. There's just something about her that kind of just bothered me. I don't know. It's because she said racist things in the past, or maybe it's just her attitude. There's just something about her I've never really liked.
My only guess
somebody
would be,
said that she said something racist or something. I don't remember.
No, I think she was playing around with TikTok with some friends, and they were wearing rubber Halloween masks, and somebody was wearing a mask of Obama or some African American figure like they sell, it was either Muhammad Ali or OJ or something like that. And they were just kind of bopping around wearing a mask, a rubber mask, and they made a big deal about it.
Okay, see, I really didn't follow much of the story. I was just I felt like they were probably blowing it out of proportion, as most people do.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be one of those people to say that I hate her or anything like that. It's just I've never been a fan of hers. I've always liked the other members of CLC. I've always liked Elkie.
Yeah.
But people got on her case when she made a post about being pro-China, but I'm like, she's Chinese.
Yeah, I remember that.
She's Chinese, and they jumped her case about that. And the thing is, I liked CLC as a group. They've always put out really good quality songs, but of course the company that they were with is garbage.
Yeah.
So
Cube.
Cube. We gotta say the name, Cube.
Yeah, we have to say the name. We
Yeah.
must let everyone
Never
know
forget.
who's terrible.
Well, and again, maybe, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I felt like they didn't really fight for Sujin of G Idol like they should have. Because
Yeah, what happened there? What happened there?
Well, she was supposedly accused of bullying an actress whose name I don't remember in middle school or something like that, and then they were supposedly doing an investigation. You heard nothing about it for 6 months, and then about a month or two ago, right before their comeback, they said, "Yeah, we're terminating her contract. She's gone." And then
just about everybody was bullied in school, and everybody bullied somebody in school.
Well, it came out that she was just with a group of friends that were bullying this actress. She never did the bullying. It was the only reason she was with this group of friends, from my understanding, is that she didn't like being by herself.
Guilty by
there's nothing-
association.
Right.
Right.
Another thing
So-
too, they were trying to get her like for I think she said she was smoking or something. I don't remember exactly what else,
Yeah,
smoking or something. I think. And,
Yeah, she did admit that she did smoke when she was in middle school.
Holy see, if I were to be held accountable for every stupid ass thing I did in high school, I'd go hide from society right now. Luckily, they didn't have social media back then. But yeah, we all did stupid stuff when we were teenagers because teenagers are stupid.
Well, that's how we're supposed to be. That's how we're
Yeah.
programmed.
Yeah, you're self-centered. You're completely everything revolves around you, and teenagers do stupid shit. And to be held accountable for that in your adult life is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's sad that we hold celebrities accountable for stuff like that. But yet, when it comes to political figures, we're okay with anything they do.
Oh, but in K-pop, it's even crazier because they weaponize this stuff. This is not.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm outraged that Hyojung put on a mustache and said burrito. No, it was Sung-hee said burrito because what's his name said do a commercial for a burrito, and everybody started. Oh, they're problematic. Or Soen with the mannequin, the SS officer mannequin.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid, and it's not that they're actually offended. But I've seen they want to. Whatever happened to liking a bunch of different groups? Why do you feel like it's your obligation? Because these groups all like each other. These groups all get along. They Twice and Blackpink and Oh My Girl and all these groups are all buddies. Why do their fans try to sabotage each other so?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
The classic example for what you're talking about was a comment that Sharong of A-Pink once made. She gets asked from time to time about how does it feel to compete with, this group or that group. And at one time during the interview, she was asked how, she felt having to compete against the powerhouse known as Twice. And without missing a beat, she just said, "We're not in a competition. We're all out here together doing the same thing, supporting each other. So I love Twice, so they love us. We're not competing."
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like, people didn't know what to think of that. It's like, what do you mean you don't want to go out and kill everyone in Twice?
That same question was asked a few years ago to the guys of EXO about competing against BTS.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was, but one of the guys from EXO says, "We're not in competition with BTS. Matter of fact, we're friends with the guys at BTS."
Right.
And he got really irritated, and people jumped his case because he basically got pissed off. And he's like, "We're not in competition with them. We're friends with those guys. And you know what? They make us better artists and performers because one day we hope to do some of the things that they do. So we thank them for basically breaking open doors into the markets that they're in. Because if BTS hadn't done some of the stuff that they're doing, nobody would have, Monster X would not be touring in the United States. NCT 127 wouldn't be touring here. I mean, the same can be said for Blackpink. If Blackpink hadn't done some of the stuff they do, we wouldn't have Twice or Red Velvet
Right.
or whoever else touring in the United States or other European countries.
Well, I'll
So
tell you.
it's I feel like it's like a stepping stone for every, like BTS did it, now other groups can have the door open, now they can do it. Blackpink did it, now all these other groups can do it. People hate when I say that, but it's kind of true in a way.
Oh My Girl is my favorite group, and I never would have heard of them if Twice hadn't publicized them so much. Twice praised them. Even one of their comebacks, they paid the people in the background to put the Oh My Girl logo on the backdrop
Yeah.
because they absolutely idolized Oh My Girl, and that's why my top 3 groups: G-Friend, Oh My Girl, and Twice, and they have all supported each other and promoted each other. And
Yeah.
I don't understand the fan base trying to sabotage each other.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, I think all of these idols that we, love are really, in general, sick of our crap. They're tired of us fighting each other and, harassing other groups and all this stuff, They're just tired of our childish behavior.
And I'll say one thing about actually going back to A-Pink and Twice. I actually watched an episode. I can't remember what the name of the show is. Oh, it's JYP's Party People, and it was JY Pocky. I don't know, you might have seen the show before. I watched a few episodes of it, but one episode, this was like one of his very first episodes that he did. Basically, he brings on groups and they have a party in a club and he interviews them. One of his first episodes that he did was with A-Pink, and he makes a comment on the show, something to the effect of, I hope Twice doesn't get offended, but I had to bring on A-Pink first because they're just that good. He literally said that about his own group Twice, like the A-Pink is actually better than Twice. He implied, he didn't say better, but he implied like they're just that good, he said. Just that good, I had to bring them on before Twice.
They were the veterans at the time, weren't they?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Twice were the rookies.
Right.
They were the Sunbays.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, another thing that I think about what you guys were saying about is I had a music professor who actually once said, music is never a race. And that kind of stuck with me. It's never a race, it's never a competition. It's never about being fast and being, in a hurry and having pressure. Music should be something that you should be able to do with people, and it should be enjoyable. And you shouldn't have to be, just worrying about time or about competing. Or basically anything you might think of as a race. In a race, there's competition, so there's the time. And his thing was music should just be something that's enjoyable and relaxing. It shouldn't be stressful, and it shouldn't be a competition. It's not like you're in the Olympics. You're not competing against anybody. You're doing your own thing, and you shouldn't be put on a pedestal with anybody else or compared. Or it's you just doing your own thing.
Even though they're called idols.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is there's 2 different takes on music. You either see it as art, which fits what Fanboy was saying about his professor, or you see it as a product. And then that's when it becomes a competition. Because
Right.
you got this desire to make the best product possible to put out there. But the problem is that people confuse money with quality, and you get some lousy product out there.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be an art, and that's what I think a lot of the younger generations have lost track on. They see it as a product now.
I teach art to kids, and everyone, and I teach inner city kids, and occasionally I'll have a kid that'll say, "I can beat all of y'all drawing." And I say, "It's not a competition."
Right.
It's not a competition, man. But yeah, if you teach art, bless you, because
No, it's my passion. I'm a groundskeeper by day, and then I go to teach in an after-school program.
no one wants to teach art anymore. No one wants to teach music.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, it's no wonder kids are not creative.
I'm
Probably
different. The Rinzi Center is an after-school program, and
Probably because a lot of schools nowadays are cutting art and music and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons we exist.
And they're also cutting phys ed, but, that's another whole topic.
Right.
But, yeah.
Moving on.
Yes.
We're going to talk about, this is kind of a debut. It's a debut technically, but it's an offshoot of another group, another very well-known group, G-Friend. And talk about B-Biz in the B-Biz debut, Bop Bop. So what was everyone's take on that?
Now we're in my territory.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know it was pronounced. I thought it was Viviz.
No, I'm pretty sure it's B-Biz. And I've talked about this before, I know, on Facebook and stuff, but in most languages other than English,
Yeah.
V's are almost always pronounced as B's.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at the Hangul, for
Yep.
example, on the video, the first character that looks like a box with antennas
Is the PB sound.
is the B consonant.
Yep.
So it would be B-Biz.
Okay.
Just like Bobby Girl from Fanatics a couple years back. There was it was Vavi, but it's pronounced Bobby, like Barbie.
Yeah,
I think it's because Mattel, you say about like the names you can't, trademark titles and stuff, but I think they were trying to avoid because like the name Barbie is technically trademarked, I think, by Mattel. So they didn't want to say Barbie, or maybe the phrase Barbie Girl, but they said Bobby Girl. And just, it's more catchy too, I guess, to say Bobby.
Yeah, the B is co-pronounced with the B. It's another one of those consonants like L and R and G and K and D and T. You'll pull you'll pull your hair out before you get it figured. But yeah.
That's the thing about, like with Korean, you have. I'm going to try to be curt here with this.
Kurt.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Hi, Kurt.
Somebody's name. Yeah, I'm going to try to be curt. Try to be short. Try to be brief. But like with Korean and Japanese, they both have that same thing where like the P's and the B's, and other sounds like G's and K's. However, with Japanese, you actually have a mark called a dakuten, and that mark denotes when it should be used. Like sometimes it'll be like if there's a word in front of it, it'll have a different sound, and they actually do have a mark to tell you when it's supposed to be softened or whatever the term is.
Yeah.
And the thing with Korean, it's kind of just like, well, sometimes you have like the P sound when it comes first and the B sound when it's after something, but it's hard to sometimes, because different people pronounce things different ways in different parts of Korea. Even just within South Korea, there's different pronunciations.
Yeah, you can have 3 Hangul symbols in each syllable, and the placement of these certain consonants inside that syllable determines whether, you pronounce it as a B or a P or anything like that. So there's some rules, but there's no special marks to it. You just have to remember the rules for the syllable construction.
Right.
So Bibbins.
Yeah, B-Biz, or yes.
B-Biz. Okay.
B-Biz, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'll start saying it that way. All right, I was heartbroken when I found out that G-Friend had disbanded. When I saw Yuju's tweet, this has been G-Friend.
Yeah.
I was torn because I only got into K-pop like about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And my 3 top groups, like I said, Oh My Girl, Twice, and G-Friend. And so this was my first K-pop heartbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so good. That last triptych album they did, started with Crossroads, and it was like telling a whole story.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they could easily turn that into a Broadway musical or something. The songs were so powerful. They had a huge hand in writing the songs, and it was just every song was intense. Every song was intense from all 3 albums, including the full album.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely was.
And the videos were intense. Everything was perfect.
It was Crossroads, Apple, and Margot.
Yeah, that Margot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, ironically, as soon as they released those 3 songs, I became a bigger fan of G-Friend. And then when I seen I've always liked G-Friend. They've always put out quality music, but I felt like they were hitting their stride with Crossroads and On. But when I seen the story that they got disbanded, I was like, what? I was shocked. I didn't know what to think or what. And a lot of people are like, well, good, they deserve to be disbanded because of that mannequin incident where the one member.
No.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what I read and what
Yeah.
some fans were saying, they said they got disbanded because the one member hugged that mannequin because it was quote unquote a Nazi, and the whole group supported Nazism, and it was a whole mess of stuff. And I'm like, that's not why they disbanded. They got bought by was Big Hit, and I think Big Hit doesn't really like girl groups that much, and they broke them up.
My theory is they wrote the lyrics for a lot, like in the song Mago. They wrote a lot of the lyrics, and I was watching this interesting video where they were going through the booklets that accompanied each album, and it was like this little fairy tale thing about they had a story that went with it that kind of incorporated all their previous videos and songs, where there was this group of girls who were raised as witches. They were friends in high school, then they got their powers, and then they all turned on each other and stuff. And there's like all these little hints in their videos. And then when they did Mago, Yuju wrote the line, "No more fairy tales." And the whole storyline was, they turned into evil witches, but then they turned good again. But the song Mago, they embrace it. Basically, we're embracing the power we have. And it was almost like when the Monkees started saying, no, we want to start playing our own instruments. We don't want you choosing the songs for us. We want to do our own stuff. And I wonder if that's what happened, is they became so powerful and wanted to make their own decisions, and they were butting heads with the management because they had gotten that good, where they were ready to make their own decisions, which is what Mago's about. It's about being, it means sorcerer. It means and that's my theory, is they couldn't be controlled anymore.
Yeah, like Kang was saying about. Like what Kang was saying about Wonder Girls. It's like they were getting so independent, so powerful, writing their own songs,
playing their own.
JYP bagged them. Yeah, playing their own instruments, and JYP bagged them as soon as they were really getting strong. He bagged them.
Well, your theory is somewhat right, because there was a story, and I only seen it once, that they were in talks to do new contracts.
Yeah.
And I guess they couldn't come up with, because I guess they had a comeback lined up, and they were getting ready to do some new stuff, but they couldn't come up with, I guess, I don't know what they're called now, but I know they used to be called Big Hit, but
I think it's Hybe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hybe wanted them, like, here's your stuff, go run with it. But they were like, no, we're used to doing this, and they wanted to do their own stuff. And then I guess they couldn't come up with terms on contracts, and what would have been their latest album, and they just said, okay, you're done. So there is some truth to that theory, but people took the whole they were pro-Nazi crap and ran with it, and then I don't believe that for a second. So
I can tell you a bit about Big Hit, though. They did at one time say that they were never going to do another girl group.
Right, I remember that. That's why I felt like that's why they disbanded the group.
Well, the group that they had that made them say that was Glam.
I don't even know Glam.
Glam was short for Girls Be Ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
That ended in a scandal. Just to give you a little trivia note, January 15th, 2015, the member Dahi was sentenced to 6 months in prison for blackmailing an actor.
Oh, damn.
And after that, Glam went downhill. Big Hit just canceled all the contracts, sent them home, and said, we are never, ever doing this again.
Yeah.
So that's why you were thinking that. And Glam was the group that brought that about.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I never heard that story. I just always heard that they never liked doing girl groups.
Well, that's the reason why, because that was their first and only girl group.
Yeah. And I think as far as the song and B-Biz, like I talked about with Yuju's, we talked about this myself and Kung last time, with, having her being on her own, Yuju, I feel like she is getting, because I feel like she was really, in my opinion, one of the stars of the group.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like she never got her due. She never got her, what she should have been able to do. I feel like she was constrained being in G-Friend. And I feel like now she's actually, doing the solo stuff. She's actually able to spread her wings and soar the way that she should have. And I think the same thing maybe is happening with B-Biz. Like, to me, like kind of what Tim was saying, I actually like G-Friend like toward the end there, like the final album. I was actually like really getting into them for a change. The guy was always a casual listener, but I really took them to heart, and really like that album really touched me somewhere. I just seems like somewhere deep inside that album really grabbed me. And so I did sort of recognize the concept, and I love concept albums, and I do it myself with my own music, and I just love that kind of stuff. And I became a fan at the very end. It was kind of sad when they disbanded. But
that was their Sgt. Peppers. That was their Sgt. Peppers.
And now that we have this chance, because like the biggest heartbreak for me in K-pop so far was when Priston disbanded. They were my ultimate group, and when they disbanded, which was another crappy company incident. Who is actually now with a big hit or Hybe, whatever it's called. That's Platus. We'll say their name. And when that happened, that just broke my heart. And they tried to do the same kind of thing. We had, I think was it 3 or 4? Roa, Unwoo, and Dana. Maybe somebody else. I should know this. Had Hina Pia. They tried to start their own, and they had a couple other new members, like rookie members. And they came out one great comeback. It was amazing, and then it just was dead in the water.
The company, I know who you're talking about. I actually like that song. It's a really good song. But the company went bankrupt due to COVID.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, they couldn't maintain financial whatever because I guess they had a comeback lined up for them, but they couldn't do it because they didn't bring in enough money for their debut. But yeah,
that's the problem.
I know what you're talking about. That was a really good song. I actually listened to it a lot because it was really good. But
yeah, but that was just hard for me because that was my ultimate group at the time. I started out with Red Velvet, got me into it, and then to K-pop, and then I got onto Priston, and I was obsessed with Priston the whole time they were together, pretty much, and that just hit me really hard. And then they had that chance to come back as Hina Pia, and then when that said the company went bankrupt or whatever, it broke my heart all over again. So that's why I'm hoping that B-Biz and stuff is really going to be the opportunity that Simbi, Una, and Umji have to actually be able to do that. And I mean, I honestly think they seem like they're really happy. They seem like they're really happy in the MV, and the behind the scenes stuff I've been watching, and all that stuff. Their accounts, their social media accounts. They seem really happy, and I'm just glad that they're happy. They could be happy, and I hope that it gives me a chance now that I was finally becoming a big buddy, a big G-Friend fan.
Yeah.
This finally gives me the opportunity to still, once again, because my biases were Yuju and Sinbi, so now both of them are back. They're now back in solo and B-Biz respectively, and that just really excites me. I'm very excited to see how that goes, and hopefully it doesn't end to the way that Tina Pia ended. So, and I just love the song. That was great. I love the disco thing. We've been seeing a lot of very fun video and song. There's not one complaint about that. I absolutely adored that song in MV.
It's the perfect lineup. If you had to split the group in half, that's the perfect lineup because Yuju and Yoonbi always were like the two powerhouse vocalists. And you still got one of the powerhouse vocalists, and you've got Shinbi, who's an excellent singer herself, and one of the best dancers in K-pop. And Umji, who, my God, was like the caterpillar that just turned into a butterfly. She always seemed to have low self-esteem in some of those earlier videos. I don't know if that was a persona they created for her, but that's how it always seemed.
Yeah, she took a lot of abuse in the early years.
Well, she's a standout now.
Yeah.
And I do miss Yirin because she was just adorable. She was the best at agio in my opinion. She just did it effortless, and she made you laugh. And they consider themselves to still be G-Friend. They said Shinbi said that they're going to get back together someday. They all still consider Soan their leader, and they still get together and sing at weddings. for friends of theirs.
I think I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's twice. They've done it twice.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be fine. The video was great because it looked like TARDIS from Doctor Who, and it was just fun. And they looked like they were having a good time. The model walk they do. What is it? The catwalk. With Umji in the middle is just the best. Everything works, and they're in sync. They've always been considered one of the most in sync dance groups.
Yeah, they actually did some kind of computer test on that, and they used Glass Bead and 2 other songs, and the variance of synchronicity in their movements was so minor that they had to label it as perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to be rooting for them on Queendom 2. That's my bias in Queendom 2 is I'm going to be rooting for Vivis.
Well,
all right,
I'm pretty sure Kepler's going to win that. Just because they're Mnet's group. I've already stated that. I know a lot of people get upset with me when I say that, but why would you put your own group on your own show?
All these reality shows, in my opinion, so many of them are fixed or scripted that I can't stomach to watch them anymore. So even if it turns out to be that you're wrong, I would agree initially that would be my thing, that I would not be the least bit surprised if they come out with that.
The last one got me into groups I was not aware of. I did not know about G-Idol. Before that, I got into G-Idol before that because of that. I was not familiar with To Anyone.
Oh yeah.
Until okay, who is this Park Bom person? And I was not. Familiar, I was not familiar with. What is it? They did Elvis and AOA. AOA, yeah, and I love AOA now. All of these groups, all I knew about, I like Lovelies, of course, Oh My Girl, and Mamamoo. I didn't know anything about the other ones. Now I'm a fan of all of them. And everyone did the performances that came out of that contest. I didn't care who won. Those just were Oh My Girl's performances just were incredible. Everybody did a great job. So I'm looking forward to watching the second.
Yeah, that is one of the advantages to watching those. If you didn't know a group already, you didn't know some songs from that group, you get to hear some songs of different groups, and gives you kind of a nexus into them.
Yeah.
A lot of people were hoping that instead of Kepler, it would have been Dreamcatcher, which everybody knows I'm a big fan of Dreamcatcher. They're my alt group, but I kept telling them it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I know what's going on with Dreamcatcher, and they're like, Tim, be quiet, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, the reason you haven't heard anything from Dreamcatcher and why they're being so quiet is because they're working on a comeback. They're working on a full album. Hear me now, quote me later. And they're like, okay, but it's going to be Dreamcatcher, Luna, and everybody had a bunch of other guesses. And when the list came out and Dreamcatcher wasn't on it, I said, I told you. And 2 weeks later, what happened? Dreamcatcher announced a comeback and a full album. I said, I told you, you need to listen. Why. This is my alt group. I know what I'm talking about. Just listen to me for once.
Nostradamus.
Right. And not only that, but some of the members were changing their hair color, which usually is a signal that they're preparing for a comeback. I kept telling people this. But back to the main topic, I actually like Bop Bop too. It was a really good song. I kind of like a lot of these groups doing the throwback 70s, 80s thing. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I do too. I love the 70s and 80s R&B.
Yep.
That's K-pop's greatest quality, especially with the girl groups, in my opinion, is they are able to mix so many different styles and genres into one. And it's not like America. It was like, we don't do that because that's out of style. We're only doing the latest Razor's Edge, edgelord thing. And K-pop, and that's the only problem I have. One of my biggest fears about the fourth gen was that everybody's going to try to be Blackpink. And I like Blackpink, but I only want one Blackpink. I don't want everybody trying to sound like Blackpink because that's what's selling. And that's what a lot of these fourth gen groups are sounding just like Blackpink.
Yeah, that's the problem with publishers today, whether it's books, music, movies, TV, whatever, games. They don't want to do anything that is experimental. They only want to bank on proven formulas.
Yep.
And that's the problem. That's why everything becomes static. Everyone sounds the same. And then, everyone's confused later. Well, why didn't this sell? Well, I don't know. Maybe because there's 285,000 other groups at that exact time, sounding the exact same way, singing the exact same things.
Right.
I mean, someone did a study on that, just to keep it short. Someone did a study on that, published the results on YouTube, where they took a 10-year time span of American rock music and made, I think, 1,000 people blindly listen to it without telling them who any of these groups were. And the vast majority of them all thought the bulk of the songs were from the same handful of groups.
Yeah.
Because they all sounded the same, vocally, content-wise, and musically.
Yeah, I believe that.
That's why a lot of people say music originality in America is dead, because we only go after proven formulas and we don't experiment with the proven formula.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that harkens, I'm trying to be quick here, but harkens back to Tusk from Fleetwood Mac and what Lindsey Buckingham said, we got the biggest album with Rumors, but, if we try to do it again, it's just going to end up in disaster.
Yeah.
We're on its head, let's shake it up. Let's do something totally avant-garde, totally different. And, it obviously mixed. Originally, had a lot of mixed reviews. It was the most expensive album to make of all time at the time. It had the record, as far as the single, Tusk, the title single, had the most single musicians on a single. Most single musicians doesn't make sense. The most musicians on a single at the time, as of 1980, when it was released as a single. And it was a huge milestone, seminal album in the music industry. However, some people wanted them to go and just do the same thing over again. And Lindsey Buckingham was just like, no, it's going to have a lot of problems itself. Let's be artists. Let's do something different, and not worry about. Because once again, they were getting thrown literally the biggest budget. Warner Brothers Records was throwing the biggest budget of all time at the time for an album at them. Said, just do what you want because Rumors was amazing. And they took the opportunity, or at least Lindsey Buckingham took the opportunity, to do something different instead of trying to do the tried and true formula. They experimented with it, as Kung mentioned.
Artists are supposed to naturally evolve their sound and technique as their careers go on. And a lot of fans have a hard time with that. It takes them longer to adapt. But the difference between going from Rumors to Tusk was night and day. And I remember that coming out, and from my viewpoint, from where, people I talked to, Tusk was a complete and utter train wreck for, Fleetwood Mac. I thought the album was decent.
Yeah.
But I had to take it with a grain of salt because this is them experimenting and evolving.
Right.
And a classic example for people who are locked into the 80s is Madonna.
Yeah.
Look at how she's changed over the years and had to change her music because her voice has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, artists evolve. Those that stay with the same formula constantly are the ones that don't last.
Okay,
Yeah.
and this is one of the reasons why Oh My Girl is my favorite group, is because they change their concept each time to go from Closer to Ayin to Windy Day, and then later to go from Secret Garden to Remember Me. And each time keeping the elements that I love about the group, but giving as opposed to Momo Land, which went from Boom Boom to Bam.
Well, yeah.
Momo Land eventually did change, but it got weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't even get me started because MLD is on my crap list of companies that have screwed up their groups.
Yeah, that last song they did, that collaboration, I was very uncomfortable with that.
It was unusual. See, I'll just leave it at this. I have watched MLD take Momoland and hypersexualize that group.
That's why I was uncomfortable with that comeback. It was just, I felt like it was uncomfortable. I mean, look, and there's nothing wrong with finding the members of Momoland attractive.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. You guys know me on that one.
But it's just like, why don't you just...
what they did to Yamu.
The words.
Yeah.
A hen reminded me of a girl I knew in high school that I used to play Dungeons and Dragons with, who lost some weight and then decided she was going to completely start acting stupid and
did see.
Attract boys. A hen was like my favorite. Was my bias in the group, and it was like, Hen, what happened to you? You were my favorite. You had this great wholesome quality to you. And she's one of the best singers in the group. And,
definitely.
I really recognize her now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what happens.
See, for me, I get even more annoyed because I was part of the group that funded the debut for Momoland. And sitting there going through all that, watching the group get assembled and everything else, and then finally debut, and to see what MLD has done with them over time, it just aggravates me to no end.
Yeah. Moving on, though, we're going to talk about a group that has been around now for, I believe, 3 years, and a group that I personally think has managed to change each concept, with each comeback, each different concept, but still remain true to themselves, and that's Rocket Punch with Chiquita. What was you guys' take on that?
Yeah, I'm going to be probably the one person who says this, but I don't think Rocket Punch has ever had a bad song. Like, ever.
Oh, no.
Like, every time they come on a song, it's like... And look, when they did Ring Ring, it was a little different, but I liked it. But every title track they've ever put out, I've loved, and every B-side that it's on every album is really good. I don't think they've ever had a bad title track or a bad album. So they're one of those really good quality groups that put out great music and great content, and that's why I had to put them in my top 10 favorite groups, because they keep putting out great stuff. So I loved it. I can't say a bad thing about it.
Yeah, I didn't even know about their new release. Rocket Punch is one of those ones that's not even really on my radar at this point.
Look, to be honest, you should really just give them a chance and check them out. I mean, I personally like them. I don't know how you'll feel about them, but maybe you'll like...
No, I'll probably like them. I mean, most groups I do. It's just one of those things where, like, I talked earlier about saturation.
Right.
I'm just so overwhelmed and oversaturated with stuff that Rocket Punch is going to be one of those groups that I don't catch on to later. Just like, what was it? Is One?
Is One, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on them until their last release.
Yeah.
I never got into them, but you know.
Panorama was my song of the year.
Yeah. It's a good song.
I love that one.
Here are my notes for Rocket Punch Chiquita.
Notes time by Chuck.
Notes by a Savage Chuck.
Hard to get into the flow in the first 10 or 15 seconds, but the 80s vibe grabbed me, and the vibrant techno Alice in Wonderland feel to the video to me was fun. So I got into it. I didn't jump into it immediately, but they got me.
Yeah, I think it's one of those songs where you do kind of have to listen to it for a while. You can't just listen to the first couple seconds and say, okay, it's going to be a hit, it's a hook immediately. It kind of progresses into it. But yeah, I love the video. Loved the '80s feel. I mean, come on. I mean, it was just like, they're trying to go more the '80s feel. I think the last two comebacks, but yet it was still very unique. It was still very different from the previous comeback from Ring Ring, which was compared to Take On Me a lot and a couple other songs. But I mean, I think it was great. I love the group. I love the fact they got Judy from AKB48, who, once again plays drums and is a very talented individual, and they got her, and which all became of that because of Produce 48, which was the Eyes One thing. And what's actually interesting about that is I didn't find out about that Produce, because it was back before I was on Facebook and everything. Well, I was on Facebook, but I wasn't in Facebook groups at the time. I was not even aware that Produce 48 was a thing, which I should have been because I love J-pop and I love K-pop. And I didn't find out until it was over and they had put Eyes One together, and then a in-person friend of mine told me about it, and I said, wow, like I didn't even hear about that, AKB48 was teaming up with the Produce people. I didn't even hear anything about that. That's amazing. But yeah, so I mean, that came out of Produce 48 too. A lot of it wasn't Dola from Fanatics on there, which they had. Milkshake was the pre-debut subunit song, my favorite K-pop song of all time for Fanatics. So AKB48 has produced a lot of great groups. I mean, you can't go wrong with AKB48, and that's what it came out of. And because it's like I don't watch a lot of those things. I didn't watch much of like the NGU, or I watched some of the 16, not a whole lot. I didn't even watch the what's it called, Idol School or something, the one where they Promise 9 came out of. I didn't even watch that one at all, but I got on to Promise 9 right away. But I'm digressing here, but to go back to, I just love this song. And one thing that I found was interesting, which is the way that a lot of times these K-pop groups, they will take these English, or in this case Spanish, words, and they will kind of repurpose them and pronounce them differently, make them into their own. And that, to me, is what they did with Chiquita. It's not Chiquita, it's Chiquita, Chiquita, which is like a rhythm. It's a rhythm. It's like a Spanish rhythm now. Originally, it was a word. Like, to me, the word Chiquita was always, I know that it probably in the original Spanish, it probably wasn't supposed to be like a dirty thing. But to me, like, Chiquita has become like a dirty, sort of sexualized term to refer to a woman, like a locker room kind of talk kind of thing. So I've always kind of like strayed away from the term. I didn't really like the term Chiquita. But the way it's not Chiquita, it's Chiquita, 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 Chiquita. It's a rhythm. It's like a lot of times like you would hear in Spanish music. And they're doing that with the 80s vibe. And I thought, wow, that's really an interesting take on this word that, to me has always been just kind of it's not a nice word, to be honest. Just at least the connotation that it's used in America. I mean, maybe in other, like I said, in Spanish-speaking countries, it's not such a dirty word, but to hear it's like a locker room kind of a term. It's not really a nice term to refer to a woman. It's kind of a kind of sexualized way.
Like a cat call kind of thing.
Exactly. And that's why I like how they repurposed it now. And it's something, it's fun, it's upbeat, it's energetic. They said they got the 80s feel. I just love it. I love it. It's not just Chiquita, it's Chiquita, Chiquita. It's something that's alive and fun. And that's what I think, to me, Rocket Punch is all about. Just fun. It's a very fun group. They can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, for me, when I see Chiquita, I think of Chiquita Bananas.
Oh yeah, that too.
And wasn't there an ABBA song? Wasn't there an ABBA song called Chiquita?
Maybe. Not sure.
I think there was. I might be wrong.
There may be. I know they did one called Fernando, but
yeah, it's Spanish, obviously.
But speaking of repurposing Spanish words, please correct me if I've got this wrong, but I don't believe I do. Weki Meki did that song Siesta.
Oh yeah.
Siesta is Spanish for nap.
Yeah.
And they were treating it like it meant party. And I'm like,
fiesta. Fiesta is the word for party.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, this is kind of worse than getting an English word wrong. Because
sometimes it doesn't work out as well.
Because English words are confusing. You can take one word and it means 25,000 different things.
Yeah.
But the Spanish words are not really like that. So when you pick a word like siesta, it's kind of hard to convince everybody that, hey, this means party. No, it means I'm going back to bed.
Yeah.
And,
Bibbas has a song called Fiesta on their new album.
Oh, that was Eyes One. It's my fiesta. Yeah.
No, but Bibbas also has a song called...
Oh, yes, Bibbas. You're right. They do have one. You're right. Yes, they do. You're right.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes, going back to Bibbas. Yeah, they do.
But, yeah.
But yeah, I think it was, good. I like what they did, how they repurposed that term, how they made it fun. So they're just a fun group, and they made that song fun. And moving on, we're going to get to one of my favorite comebacks of the entire year so far, and one that just blew me away that I was not prepared for. And I mean, I knew this group was interesting and different back when they debuted at the end of last year, but this has just knocked me out. I've been listening to it nonstop. No, it's not nonstop by Oh My Girl from 2 years ago. But this is Ginga Minga Yo by Billy. And what was everyone's take on that?
Okay, I'll be the first to say and go, because I'll say my piece, but
yeah,
I don't like Billy. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's not that they're not talented or anything. I don't like the music. A lot of people were comparing their debut to a Dreamcatcher song. I'm like, it sounds nothing like Dreamcatcher. Where are you getting this comparison from?
Yeah, I've never seen that discussion.
I got my head ripped off multiple times from many people about saying, yeah, it is. I'm like, I am a huge fan of Dreamcatcher. They're my alt group. This is nothing like them.
Right.
Stop making this comparison. I got into a number of disagreements with people, and then even some of our mutual friends had agreed with me, like, yeah, I don't see that where they're getting this comparison. But I don't like Billy. I can't get into it. Maybe something down the road, maybe, but yeah, and I feel like their fan base has already become toxic because...
Unfortunately, I think you just about described almost every fan base coming out now.
Yeah.
Everyone is like, my group's the best, and give me a chance, I will kill you in your sleep.
Okay.
Like they just debuted, and it's already like, I can't get into this group because you're biting my head off because I disagree with your comparison of Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher has a rock thing going on. This isn't a rock. I don't.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about this? So
yeah,
didn't they name themselves after Billie Eilish, more or less?
I think so, but I'm not 100%. I have a few friends that really love them and think they're great, and that's fine. But I can't get into them. The fan base, at least the people I encountered, were not very nice people. So I'm kind of stepping away from the whole Billy thing for now, and until something grabs my attention. But as of right now, I'm not feeling that.
They didn't grab my attention. It reminded me of Nietzsche, this particular song, and I thought the video was fun. To be honest, there's no group that I hate.
Right.
There's no group that I can't listen to. There are groups that I prefer. And as one of the things that I realized, taste is taste, and there is no wrong or right. It tastes. It's just it releases those endorphins or it doesn't. It hits that dopamine or it doesn't. I mean, there's no good or bad. And this one didn't really capture me.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of having a mature discussion on things where you don't agree has been lost.
It really has.
Yeah, and one of the key words to that concept is tolerance,
yeah.
which the world has lost completely on every intellectual front that you can discuss. Now, just to point out an example, Tim is very familiar and he knows Dreamcatcher very well. And I can talk Dreamcatcher, but I won't have the backstory. I don't have all the history. And the only thing negative I can say, and if you want to call it negative, is that I'm not a fan of rock music. But that's not a Dreamcatcher rock music thing. It's a rock music thing in general. So, like with all the other groups we talk about, I see the talent. I love the girls. I'll support them. But the problem is is I just don't listen to them because it's not my type of music.
Right. That's why, to be honest, that actually, like, I love rock music, so
I got burned out on it thanks to the 90s.
Well, I'm just putting that out there. I like rock music, so that's why Dreamcatcher, and I would throw like Everglow and a few others into that mix. That's why they grab my attention. It's because I like that style of music. And like, for example, Weekly, they just dropped their new song not that long ago.
Yeah, that was very different.
It was a complete 180 from the whole, I guess, Cube concept or whatever they were doing, which I like Weekly. They're one of my favorite groups. I love all their music. But when that song came out, people were upset, like, I don't like it. And I'm like, this is freaking awesome. I love this. I have not stopped listening to it since it came out. But like you said, you don't like rock music. I love it. I know some people who like rap and hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
I can't get into that. I mean, I was into it like in high school for like a quick minute, but then I end up resonating more with rock music.
Yeah, I can't get into rap or hip hop. I mean, just period.
But see, K-pop incorporates all of it into one thing, and it makes it all palatable to me.
Right.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I think everybody agrees with that, but it's just like, you got your regular pop music, then you have your rap segment, and then you can do rock and everything, but it works, and it's not like I like this because of that reason. I like K-pop because it incorporates all these genres of music into one masterpiece, I guess you could say.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good blending. I can listen to, some rap segments in a K-pop song, but
it doesn't.
I don't want to listen to Kanye West.
Right.
I don't want to hear anyone where the entire song from the first second to the last second is rap.
Right.
I like it when the rap serves the song.
Yes, it's supposed to.
Opposed to the song serving the rap, where you have somebody come in to sing a hook for a guy rapping on and on about, his dick size. Then occasionally have a woman with a beautiful voice come in and sing, yes, your dick is so big.
Well, we just got the mature rating.
He's got the mature rating, right, yeah.
No, I get exactly what you mean. That's the thing I hated about rap, especially in when Jessica did that one on her first solo after SNSD.
Yeah.
Was she had that rapper come in, and all he talked about was about how great he was and about Stephen Curry and how the world was against him. And I'm like,
I think I heard that.
What's it got to do with this song, and how does this help this song out?
Yeah.
That's the other great thing about K-pop. They don't do diss tracks that I'm aware of. Nobody in K-pop doing diss tracks against other K-pop groups.
Well, someone saying that Soyeon from G Idol is dissing somebody, and I forget who it was.
Well, that was because to move forward into March, because we're filming this, or not filming, but recording this in March. That was because of the Tomboy G Idol single. During the rap break, there's I Don't Want to Play the Ping Pong, and Ping Pong was obviously the Dawn and Hyuna. So they're kind of saying that. But then the thing too, which I kind of agree with what people were saying, is that, well, that's kind of just a general term, just like the way that I mentioned in the past, like UA is like a term that's used in K-pop, and they turned it into the group called UA, or what's the other one? There's a couple of different groups like that, where they just take like common phrases, and like so there might be a group in the future called Ping Pong. Ping Pong is just kind of a phrase that's used in, I think, maybe just Korea or even outside Korea, just kind of a common phrase. It's not that it necessarily means, it's not saying that it means, or it's an allusion to Hyuna or anything like that, or Dawn, or that it's literally the game ping pong, table tennis, but rather that it's just a term that's kind of used to refer like to waffling. Life. Yeah.
BTS mentions it in one of their latest songs. Drink a glass of milk, play some ping pong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's just I was saying about like UA. UA is a phrase that's used a lot can't think of the other group. It's a couple different groups. There's another one I can't think of what it is, where they literally named the group after a common phrase in K-pop. And I think there could literally be a group called Ping Pong in the future, a K-pop group. I mean, it's just a phrase that's used. I don't think it's a diss.
Yeah.
Although I guess it's because of the way that it's like, I'd rather film a TikTok. I don't know, but I think it's just saying like she would rather, instead of dealing with people who are dysfunctional, she would rather do her own thing and film her TikTok instead of being caught up in other people's drama. That's how I interpret it. But
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Could very well, because you know how sensitive K-nets are.
yeah,
It wasn't really even a diss track. It was even the group acknowledged that it wasn't a diss track. It wasn't a diss towards her because they're actually friends with Dom.
Yeah.
right.
So, like, why are you making something up? And I
Yeah.
get to what Chuck's saying about what BTS, because I think it was Dynamite, because he says, get up, drink a cup of milk, play some ping pong, and then
Yeah.
shoot some hoops with LeBron. But
Yeah,
I'm surprised nobody made that. Like, oh my God, he said LeBron James, his name. It's a diss track.
Now, there was speculation that the song Bulldozer
twice.
beat, where they say like a bulldozer, like a tank, like a
that's
soldier.
Twice, yeah.
That was a reference to BTS.
Oh, I didn't even hear that one.
I
Yeah,
never
I know
heard
the
that.
song, but I didn't hear
Like
about
a bulldozer, like a tank, like a soldier.
Yeah, I know the twice.
Oh,
song.
referring to maybe Army, their fan base.
Well,
Oh,
but also BTS, bulldozer, tank, soldier.
Right.
BTS.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Tank Soldier.
I just
Got
read
it.
the theory online. I didn't come up with that. But
Yeah, now
somebody
see, yeah, because they another thing too that might also kind of substantiate that in a sense is that they purposely abbreviated BDZ
yeah.
like BTS. I didn't even think about this. See,
I
this
didn't-
is like this is like another level of meta thinking.
Right.
Which I try to think that way, but I don't
And
always.
Jim wrote that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's interesting, but I thought maybe it was because when you brought it up, I thought it was a reference to their fans being known as armies.
it could be
Well,
that
it's a
too.
double entendre.
Right.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. I never
That
actually
makes sense.
heard of that, but no, I don't think that's a diss either.
That's not
I
a
would've-
diss.
I would have never
No,
thought
it's
of that
not.
because that's I don't like a whole lot of Japanese songs. That was actually one of their best ones. So
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
yeah,
I like all their Japanese releases, but that was a good one. I love the story with the lovelies being captured and they have to rescue them.
I want
Right.
to see Twice do a full-out movie where they're like a Scooby-Doo type thing, like
Yeah,
where they're
that'd be
running away
nice.
from, like werewolves or something in a haunted house.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because their characters lend itself to that.
Yeah. That's another little known fact about me is I used to have a huge Scooby-Doo collection. I used to be a huge Scooby-Doo super fan. I used to have like everything I could buy from Scooby-Doo. Not anymore though, but I used to. So yeah, it's a little fun fact about me. But yeah, I love like the whole Scooby-Doo concept. I love, and it's just. I mean, I like the whole sort of like. It's like almost like a spin on an anthology sort of thing, where you have like a different villain every episode. I like that format. I think it was a great format with that show because I love shows like that. It's almost like with Star Trek. You have a different villain every episode. And I mean, it was around the same time too. Of course, Scooby was.
Tell me you
animated,
don't
but-
want to see Sana and Momo running away from a big cartoonish werewolf,
yeah,
and Momo trying to pet it because he thinks it's a cute doggy.
like Red Velvet, a really bad boy. It's like the werewolf scene.
Yeah.
Wendy screams. But anyways, back to Billy with this. I mean, I just this is one of my favorite. This one and the one we're going to talk about next is two of my favorite songs so far from the year. I mean, just this song just hit me immediately and it hasn't let go. I just love it. It's fun. It's upbeat. It kind of reminded me of a couple of St. Vincent songs. I don't know if you know St. Vincent. She's a Western solo artist, and she's worked with David Byrne of Talking Head, and really does a lot of like really cool avant-garde stuff. And this song sounds like some of her stuff, and it just
Which song?
couple of them. I can't think of their names. I'm not a huge fan of hers, but I know some stuff.
Which K-pop song are we discussing now?
Oh, Ginga Minga Yo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can think of there's a couple different St. Vincent songs. I can't remember what's that one? Sort of sounds like it. I don't know. There's a couple St. Vincent songs. It just kind of sounds like something she would do in general. And that just, her stuff is avant-garde. I mean, so she works with David Byrne. I mean, that gives you an idea.
Well,
I mean, David Byrne is, I love his stuff, but people think his stuff is garbage.
Oh,
but I love his stuff.
Stuff is garbage.
Well, I know some people. But yeah, I love his stuff. I've always loved David Byrne's work. And she works with him on different things. They did a whole album together, I believe. And this song reminded me of. He said it seemed avant-garde to me, and even their debut single seemed avant-garde, and they had a Christmas single too. I mean, I knew there was something special from the beginning. I just really loved Billy from the get-go. To me, I knew this was going to be something special with this group. And the other thing that I like about it was they have Ski from Magicore. She was in Magicore, and I love Magicore. It was a great group. And to have her, she left Magicore after their debut song. And to see her now debuting in Billy is it's wonderful. And I mean, she is like becoming one of the stars of that group. So just to see what Ski has done, now going from Magicore to Billy and just becoming the star of that group almost, that just really warms my heart.
Cool. I'll give him another shot.
Yeah, me personally, I love this song. The song hit me right away. But that's just me. I'm a big Billy fan now. He's a fan of Ski and all the other members, and just a phenomenal group in my opinion. But moving on now, we're going to talk about these are two of my three top songs of the year of 2022 so far. Moving on to one of the best rookie groups in the last few years who, are produced by a very famous production team. It's their own group, and they're showcasing their songs and with really talented girls. Of course, I'm talking about "Run to You" by Stacy. So, what was everyone's take on that?
That is my song of the year so far, until something comes along and unthrones it.
I see why. I can tell why.
I absolutely love this.
Can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's on a daily repeat with me. I see it at least once a day. And
you have to. It's against the law if you don't. You'll be thrown in prison.
Yeah.
You'll be beaten by all the members now.
But no, I mean, the only two things about it that I would like to have seen more of is that very early in the video, you have Jay doing that funky strut.
Oh, I love that.
And it's not in the choreo.
So cool. Yeah.
And I was heartbroken when it wasn't in the choreo because that just spoke volumes. And then towards the end of the video in the choreo, there's that shoulder shake. They only do that once, and it's real quick. It's done and over with, and it's just for two simple little hooks, I absolutely love those. Yeah.
Oh, I agree on both of those.
But no, the song is just out there. I love that.
Phenomenal.
And my notes, fun, poppy, 80s feel.
Yep.
Didn't feel much of a story from the music video. I wrote down twice Heart Shaker Barbie Train. Mm-hmm. That reminded me of the train and sneaker shoulder pads really stuck out to me. It looked like sneakers.
I saw those.
I think this is their best song so far. I think it's actually their best album so far.
Oh, it's a great album.
I mean, I'm with you guys. I listen to it on repeat on a daily basis because I freaking love it. It's just they have worlds of potential, and I believe that they're. I mean, a lot of people were pretty high on them when they debuted, but now they keep knocking out these home runs, and I don't know what else to say about it because it's just such a fantastic song and such a great album, and I really hope they keep going with these. And I hope they don't. And I guess this goes back to my reference of Weekly a little bit ago, but I hope they don't do a complete 180 and do something completely different because I feel that may ruin their momentum. But with Weekly, when they did that 180, you've seen how upset some fans got. But the thing of it was, when they did that, it brought in different fans for Weekly. So I think this is the concept they should stick with. And each song has been different. It's very colorful. It's very fun, and it's just there's not a bad thing you can say about them or their music. Just keep going.
Yeah, I would agree with what you said on that, especially in the aspect of weekly, bringing in new fans, because that song that they just did is the first one that's actually caught my attention.
For weekly?
Yes.
Right. Well, see, I've always liked weekly stuff, and I know I've said this 10 minutes ago, but I've always liked weekly. I've always loved everything, but when they did that complete 180 to the song they just dropped, I mean, it made me love them even more, because they have that. And you guys may know or may not know, but I do like the girl crush concept.
Yeah.
So that really grabbed my attention. But like with Stacy, every song that they have put out has been different, but in a really good way that they can keep the concept that they're doing, but change it up in little ways.
Yeah, there's an article
this is
here that was saying that Stacy is a group to watch for in 2022.
Oh, definitely.
For sure. There's,
I
mean,
agree.
Actually, I don't know if you guys keep track of music show wins, but they've been racking up the wins with this song.
Definitely.
And I think, and I don't know how big their company is. I don't know. I know they're not on a scale of like Big Hit or JYP or whatever, but I don't know if they're in like the medium range of their size of what they can do. But if they keep doing what they're doing, they'll be able to be one of the best or top groups in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think, from my opinion on the song, I love the song. Jay has always been my wrecker, and like she's really wrecking hard. Like she's really knocking, because Yoon's my bias. She's really knocking Yoon out. I mean, Yoon had some great parts and a great look in this MV, but Jay just stole the show. She stole the show, and for me, the thing I like.
She definitely stole. This was her, for sure. She did.
Yeah.
And Issa is mine.
Yeah.
Bias.
Yeah.
I love her, but I've never really had a wrecker until now. And Jay is definitely mine.
Definitely. Yeah. And the one thing that I liked particularly about the way they were sort of doing a double A side, because the title track is actually Young Love. It's not, the name of the album is younglove.com. The title track is Young Love. It's not, which to me is like, as far as like the top B-side for me right now, I think. Top B-side for 2022, Young Love. And it's not really a B-side, it's a double A-side. And that's why they're promoting it so much. I mean, I really wish they would have done like they used to do with some older groups, where they would do MVs for two different songs, because that, I think this is a great double A-side. It clearly is supposed to be double A-side. I love Young Love. Phenomenal songs, and my favorite B-side so far this year. And they are promoting it a lot, but I feel like they should probably have done an MV too. They just probably don't have that money, of course. It costs a lot of money to do an MV. But yeah, I just loved everything. I loved the whole album. I loved those two songs. Two of my favorite songs of the year, period, so far in the first couple months here. It's because this is now March when we're recording this. So even throughout March, it's been the first 3 months. This has been, those two are two of my favorite songs.
Yeah, the thing I like about the video is the way it ends. Now, it might sound like, well...
Where they run up to the camera and it looks like they're trying to hug you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See, you know what?
That would have been something that a lot of other studios would have missed. And that's the whole point of the song, is Run to You.
Right.
And the song video ends with them running to
you
with the arms open. And it's just like, that was the final nail in the coffin.
Icing on the cake.
Which, you know what? I enjoyed, because who wouldn't want Stacy to come give you a hug?
Run to you.
Yeah.
I know some people will say that's weird because I said that would be weird, but no, like it literally felt like they were running to give their fans a hug, or someone that they care about.
That is a form of fan service.
Yep.
Right. And I thought, when I saw that ending, like you said, I was surprised by it, but I'm like, they literally ran to you. Love it.
Yeah, that was like I said, the final nail for me. So it's like, Oh man, from first second to last second, this is perfect.
Oh, it is. It's very perfect. And now moving on.
Once again, a big difference between K-pop and Western music is we're cold and aloof. With K-pop, it's like we think you people that love our music are awesome. You're awesome.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, Pop-Tart wants you to open up your wallet and give the money, and the idols are like, we did something for you. We hope you love us for it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree.
Quick note, speaking of that, A-Pink is going to be doing their fan-based song and releasing it soon. So,
and that's the perfect segue.
Because the next is going to get us some new songs here.
Yeah, because the next song on the list, the penultimate song on our list for today, is A-Pink with Dilemma. And what was everyone's take on that song?
Love it, 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 love it.
Well, you're a huge A-Pink fan, aren't you?
I am a Pink Panda.
Yep.
Big time. They are the alt group.
Well, I'm not. I would say I'm more of a casual listener of them, but I actually did like this one. I actually did like this one. It was really, really good. But like I said, I'm just a casual listener of A-Pink.
For me, it's like this with A-Pink. If you want to talk objectively about them, and you're not a big fan or you're not as impressed with them, that's fine. Talk objectively about them.
Right.
They are the only group on my list that if you start shit talking them, I will have you for lunch and save leftovers for breakfast tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. I just, my only notes were sad song. I know they're veterans, but I've really no attachment to them. I know some of their hits from the past I've enjoyed. Didn't they do, what's one of their classic songs?
Mr. Chu.
Mr. Chu.
Yeah, okay.
My.
I liked my. That was
okay, I'll just have to. I've never really been that exposed. So,
Booby Boo.
Did they do Good Girl, Bad Girl, or was that Miss A?
That was Miss A.
Miss A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miss A on that one. But yeah, they did a lot of great stuff. They had the I'm So Sick. People love that one.
That was a good one too. But like I said, for them. For me at least, it's like it's hit or miss. It's like a love-hate relationship kind of thing. Like I like this song, but I'm really not feeling this one.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've been around a long time. I'm surprised they haven't disbanded yet, but knock on wood that they don't, because they put out quality music. People love them, and I have a friend who also, like you, is a huge A-Pink fan. So, as long as they keep putting out quality music, they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah, they got their careers are into so many different things, and Bomi has said any number of times that she doesn't plan on stopping doing this. And Charong's the one that, okay, girls, our contracts are expiring soon, and they haven't said anything. Let's go in and demand a new one.
Right.
And you don't hear that very often when, a group says, we want a new contract. What are you waiting for?
Yeah. I mean, just a phenomenal group. I love them. One of my favorite groups, up there in the top for me. They never disappoint, in my opinion. I've loved everything they've done. And they had like that, what was the one they did last year? It was kind of like a thing for the Pandas, I think they did last year. That was kind of nice.
Are you ready?
Yeah, that's it. And I liked that. I thought it was very nice. It was a change of pace, but I think it worked well. And this I was just so excited when I heard about this comeback. The Horn album, the whole album is great. And I was really just surprised how Hayoung has actually just like switched her whole look up, and it really caught me. I was like, wow, she looks like a totally different person, but it's a good thing. It's not a negative thing. It's a good thing how Hayoung has just been able to just I think change herself, as I believe she's the Maknae, and just she has something to prove, I guess, and I think she's evolved both musically and stylistically, and I think that's really put on exhibit here with this comeback. It's phenomenal.
Like I said before, the best way to describe what happened to her is that she lost all her baby fat.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking actual physical fat. I mean, all those things that defined her as a maknae are gone now. She looks just as beautiful and mature as the rest of them.
Yeah.
And, I don't know whether it's an extreme diet she went on and or some plastic, not that it matters to me.
Right.
But yes, her look in this is a complete drastic change. Yeah. I didn't even recognize her. I was confusing her with Naeun and a few of the scenes. It's just like,
I was like, is that even? I was like, who is that? And I'm like,
yeah,
that's Hayoung. It just really
like, okay.
Yeah, You'll be surprised what makeup can do too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. But I just said I think it just was for her. This was really stood out to me. But I think Chorong actually, in my opinion, sort of stole the show as far as the visuals. But I definitely Hayoung is really coming in there, and Naeun has been wrecking me quite a bit in this group. Like I said before, this is one of those groups where I'm like an OT stan. I kind of stan the whole group, even though Namju is kind of settled in as my main bias. But they all wreck me. And to me, though, I think as far as the evolution from one comeback to the next, definitely Hayoung. As far as just overall visuals, I think Chorong definitely does it for me. Overall, is like the star, and then like I said, even before this, Naeun has been like really getting to me, really wrecking me.
Yeah, well, you got to remember her nickname is the Goddess.
Yeah, it's true.
That is her nickname.
She has power. She has power over you.
Yeah.
So moving on, getting on to the last song, and just like
Yay!
Last time, he knows what's coming. That's why he's excited.
Yay!
Yeah, just like the last time.
I'm about to lose my shit.
Yeah, it was like last month. We're saving the queen for last. SM's queen, Taeyeon, with "I Envy You." And what was I'm gonna let.
I'm gonna let everyone else talk. I'm just gonna go.
Go ahead.
Tay.
All right, I'll let everyone else talk first.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm with him on this. That she is the queen. Not a bad song on the album. I think this is her best album. I think this is her best title track. And I from what I've read, that she fought really hard to get "I Envy You" to be the title track, because I guess SM wanted a different song
that would be cool.
To be the title track, but she fought for it, and she worked really hard on this album. She did a great job on it. I just, like many other things I've said so far, not a bad thing to say about this album, about this song. This is another song I listen to on repeat a lot. I listen to the album a lot throughout the day, because it's just that freaking good. It's awesome. I love it.
It is great.
Hopefully you're listening to it on my channel.
That's right. Radio Kung.
I haven't listened to the whole album, but that song, Taeyeon can do no wrong. She is the Madonna, Beyonce of the K-pop world. And she's so established and seasoned, and she really can't do anything she touches is going to be just
the Midas touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's got such presence, and I love watching. And the video, I love the whole Greek goddess aspect of it, like
the 9 muses.
I love that kind of thing anyway. I like watching old Italian, Hercules films for that reason.
Yeah.
Movies, and this movie was the video is just striking, and I love everything about the song and everything about her and about the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's another one like with A-Pink that, I can listen to people talk objectively, but it just really rubs me the wrong way, the power sander on low grit paper about, shit talking my girl.
Yeah.
She's my
Tay. That from me.
She's my Tay-Tay, and that's where it's at.
Yeah, just a phenomenal song. Just a phenomenal. And I said I agree with pretty much everything Tim said. He hit the nail on the head with his description of she is a phenomenal performer, an artist overall, just overall amazing. but I feel like she's just improving like a fine wine, just getting better. And this is, to me, the whole album is phenomenal. Every song is phenomenal, but
Yes.
that title track just knocks it out of the park. Just amazing. That title track, I absolutely loved it. It was definitely the right choice. I'm glad she fought for it. She
And the choreo hooks.
oh yeah, everything. So the video, the choreography, the song, everything about it just to me was number one. It was just, it's that level. It's
And
an
if
A
you-
plus.
I know it's expensive, but if you guys can get your hands on the special edition of the album, this is the one that's the full book size.
Yeah.
Get it. It is
Right.
worth every penny.
If
I
wish
haven't bought it yet.
if I had pennies.
I'm looking at it right now. And it's just like,
I only buy digital.
I still love you, but you need to change.
Yeah, I agree with that. You gotta change. You got buy physical.
No, I have 2 physical albums, and that's 2 Oh My Girl albums because
Okay.
I also get to see them in concert. But otherwise, I listen to music as I'm working
Right.
outside all
yeah.
day, and K-pop gives me energy, and so that's why I buy it digitally, so I can put it right on my phone and work, and it's what keeps me from getting depressed. It just
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's everything I need. K-pop is magic.
To
That's
quote
right.
Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical.
Yeah, well, people know me. I'm a huge vinyl collector. I mean, I used to, before the pandemic, I was, always, going anywhere to find vinyl, rare vinyl. That was my thing. So I love the physical stuff. I do buy some digital when I have to, but I try to also, get as much of the physical as possible, whether that be CD or vinyl. Now, I haven't actually bought any K-pop vinyl yet. I know there is some that are out there, like Blackpink did some vinyl.
Yeah, but
some other groups.
the vinyl with K-pop is extremely.
Expensive.
That's why.
Well, not only that, but they're limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you didn't get one, you're probably not going to find one, not unless it pops up on eBay somewhere.
Yeah. That's
And
the thing.
God knows what the condition of it's going to be.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like that's why some K-pop I buy digitally, because it's just, it's so hard to find and it gets so expensive, like some of this older stuff, especially. That's why I'll buy it digitally. But I do a mix. I like the physical and I try to get physical, but sometimes I try to get physical. Listen, I like the song.
Let's get physical.
Yeah, I do get physical with K-pop when I can, but sometimes because it is so hard to find these albums and they cost like hundreds of dollars when you find these older ones, I just end up buying digital. But I try to do a healthy mix because I do prefer physical.
See, that's the cool thing about buying digital is that it's one of the few things that's almost the exact same price as when I bought albums back in the 80s.
Well,
Right.
the thing is, when you buy physical albums and whatnot, it's from what my understanding is why I do it. It helps the group more than buying digitally. So
Well, I do what I can.
yeah, I agree.
No.
I understand, but like I like all the extra content and stuff that you
Yeah.
get with physical albums.
No, I mean,
like the books.
buying digital still helps, but when you can, or you have something that really means something to you, if you can get the physical, that
Right.
would be the best.
That's why I buy every Dreamcatcher album, because they're my group and I'm not buying digital with them. I gotta have the physical stuff.
Right.
I bought the 2 Oh My Girl albums when I went to see them in Houston, and they actually had a K-pop store at the H Town, the H Market, or I think it's called H Mart.
Yeah.
It was a big Asian market, and they had like a section off. So I bought the 2 albums there. They weren't too expensive, but
Yeah.
I just really I don't even have anything to play CDs on. So and
Yeah.
music is personal to me. It's like I don't blast music because most people I know in my world don't really like K-pop. So it's a very personal thing going on, and as in my headphones, like as the Twice song says, with my headphones.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that because it keeps me going.
Right, I agree with that. That's why I got into K-pop, because
Yeah, my process is
Right.
similar.
it's a change of pace. It brightens your mood. It brightens your day. So, and I have Pandora on my phone, so that's why I listen to most of my K-pop. I like a good mix. That's why I always keep it on shuffle. That way I can listen to like BTS or Twice or Blackpink or Everglow and so on and so on. Because no matter who comes on next, there's a good 9 out of 10 chance I'm gonna like that song.
This is something.
And they think I'm listening to Leonard Skinner, and I'm listening to "Oh My Girl," so you're my cuddly little teddy bear. I love them. They just don't fucking know.
Yeah, well, this is. I was talking before we started recording. I was discussing about like why I bought an iPhone, because I usually have Android. I usually buy, but my last phone I bought 2 years ago, I bought an iPhone, and the reason was because what I like to do is I like to rip. If I get CDs, I'll rip the CDs, and I'll put them on in my iTunes library. And this way, what happens is if you have an iPhone, it'll automatically, because the default player is iTunes, and you can't get the iTunes app on an Android phone. This way, I rip the CDs. I put them in my iTunes library, and then it automatically syncs them to my phone automatically. I don't have to put any, because I used to mess around with SD cards, because I always put my K-pop songs on there. I had to mess around with SD cards, even though I'm probably gonna go back to that for my next phone. I'll probably get a Samsung again, a Galaxy. But I just like the fact that the reason why I bought was that this will be just easier. I can just sync all my stuff that I ripped and put into the library in iTunes. So that's what I do. So like, actually, my CD drive is broken right now on my computer, so I actually haven't even ripped the last several K-pop albums I bought because my thing is broken. But I still, I'll listen to them through, YouTube or whatever, so Spotify, the Alexa, Amazon. I have one of those Echo devices, so I'll still listen to the songs. I just haven't. I did buy the physical album. I just haven't ripped it yet because my drive is currently broken. But yeah, I mean that's what I do. I'll buy it, I'll rip it, and then I'll upload it to iTunes, and then it automatically syncs. I know it sounds like an iTunes endorsement, but it's not, folks. Don't get upset. There's no endorsement here. I'm not endorsing iTunes or Apple or anything like that. But yeah, it's a very nice function, a very nice feature, though. And that's why I actually got an iPhone, because it was around the same price anyways. So I figured, why not try it out once?
I was kind of like Chuck for the most part when I was working all those years ago. I would rip all my physical CDs and I would run them through Windows Media Player and then put them on my iPod Nano. Yeah. And I had so many songs on there that technically I could go a week and a half without hearing the same song.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how many I had on there. But now I just rip them. And you're doing yourself a disjustice if you have the file space, if you're not ripping them in lossless.
Yeah.
Buy the Tay-Tay album now.
Yeah, buy that. I gotta do that.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely buy that.
All I can say is this has been fun and it's entertaining, and I hope you guys can have me back on in the future.
We're looking forward to having you back.
Yeah, we know where you live, so you can't hide.
Not really, because I'm moving.
You underestimate me.
And of course, if any of you guys listening out there want to be a guest on a future episode of K-Pop Recap, you can become a patron on my Patreon, my Only Living Fanboy Patreon, and that enables you to become a guest and come on. That's how Chuck got on here, is from being a patron. So definitely check out my Patreon if you enjoy this and the daily content I do on YouTube. I have daily videos on YouTube. I have daily content in close to 100 different groups on Facebook, daily content in there, polls and posts and all kind of fun challenges. So if you like anything that I do on any social media, you can support me, Only Living Fanboy on Patreon. And yeah, then enables you to become a executive producer of this podcast, which means you can also be a guest. So, final send-off from my guests.
Kamsahamnida.
Yep.
Annyeong.
Yeah. Matane. Some Japanese in there. We'll all see you back, I guess, maybe.
See you next month.
Yeah, see you next month. Thanks for tuning in.